Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to NeoFly. It's the weather has been pretty shocking out here in Washington. Pretty shocking indeed. Today we are doing a flight to Alma Municipal Airport. We're taking one passenger, but unfortunately they've got a whole massive amount of
head count complete. Everyone is accounted for. Time to take off.
A massive amount of baggage on board. So that's going to be relatively interesting. It looks like we've got a two knot headwind component at the moment. We don't have much wind on the ground, but we are going to file for an IFR flight. We do need to fly in IFR conditions for this flight. Well, we are in IFR conditions. Let's just crack the throttle there. Let's throw our battery on our master. We'll bring our beacon on. Park brake is on. Fuel is selected on the on the left. My apologies for the croakiness. Everything else is looking good. Let's give this a little bit of a fire up. Our passengers are on board, or our passenger is on board.
Where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
And our cargo is on board as well. Okay, lovely. It's a bit dim this morning. We're expecting like about 110 nautical miles on the flight. So, interestingly enough, it is going to be a low altitude airways flight. Let's bring up the flight plan here. Our first track is at 287. So I'm just going to do a little bit of manipulation here. We're going to be flying 287. 287 doesn't sound right, does it? From where we are. No, it actually is right. It actually is correct. Let's spin this around here to 287. We'll set our course for that. Probably about there, I think. We're going to have to call him for our IFR clearance as well, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, we've got 3 knots on the ground here at the moment, so let's see. Let's call him for our clearance for starters.
Portland approach Piper November 41 tree 1 Charlie IFR to 4 Whiskey.
Let's throw our nav lights on while we're at it, or while we're waiting.
Piper November for 1 tree 1 Charlie is cleared to 4 Whiskey 8 Airport is filed. Climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure frequency is 125.8 squawk 7621.
6,000 feet.
30 minutes from now.
7621 on the squawk. Let's altitude report and enter that. Departure frequency 125.8, so 1258, and we'll enter that so that it's in standby. Let's acknowledge that.
Piper November 41 tree 1 Charlie cleared to 4 Whiskey 8 Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure is 125.8 squawk 7621. Clearance void 30 minutes from now.
Piper tree 1 Charlie read back correct. Good day.
Excellent. Okay, so 122.9 for our. Oh no, we don't want to transfer that. Actually, we'll transfer that. We'll go 122.9, and we'll transfer that across. And we'll announce our taxi. We might as well get straight on the road.
Sierra 48 traffic Piper November 41 tree 1 Charlie is taxiing to runway 8.
Okay, runway 08 is our departure runway. So we're just going to set our heading for 08. If we can bring that heading bug around. So we'll climb to 5,000 and to 500, and then we will do a right turn and pick up our GPS track and continue climbing to 6,000 feet. I'm expecting quite a lot of turbulence and stuff here today, which is going to be really interesting. Let's zoom that in so that we can see exactly where we are taxiing. Squawk is set. Everything else is set. Let's put on our taxi lights. Park brake off, and we will start rolling. Lovely. We'll pretend that he's not there. We shall pretend that he's not there. Still freaks me out. Still freaks me out in regards to how they put pushback on prop planes in the game or in the simulator. So out we go. We've got one stage of flaps down already to help stabilize. We don't need to worry too much about the wind. It should be a relatively smooth takeoff. Climb out, I'm expecting quite a bit of turbulence in this weather, but we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. Okay, we are nearly at our departure point here. Now, excuse me. There we go. Lovely. All right, we've got Christina on board as per usual. Let's throw our parking brake on and just check everything. Make sure that our revs are sitting at about 1,000 there. All right, we're going to bring our prop to rich. We're going to bring our landing lights on, taxi lights off, strobe lights on. We're trimmed for takeoff. Autopilot is ready in our with our heading mode. We have one stage of flaps and everything is ready to go. Let's just bring our yoke back up and we will contact traffic, let them know that we are departing, kind of departing north, I guess, aren't we really? You could say north, you could say west. I'm going to say west.
Sierra 48 traffic Piper November 4131 Charlie taking off runway 8 west departure.
Okay, lovely. All right, so it's going to be a left-hand turn. We're going to do almost a U-turn on this one to pick up our track. I thought we were going to take off from the other end, but there you go. Let's throw a little bit of oomph in here. I think we might do a rolling takeoff, a rolling start. Everything is okay. Everything's looking good. Let's line ourselves up with the runway. Throw a little bit of oomph into it. She's going to want to pull herself around to the right anyway. A little bit. And looking good. Okay, airspeed is active. It's nice to not have a massive amount of crosswind at the moment. There's 50 knots. There's 60 knots, 65, 70, and up we go. All right, beautiful.
Have a safe trip. We hope you enjoyed your stay here. We'll look forward to welcoming you back soon.
Okay, and we've run out of runway, so let's positive rate and gear up. Let's maintain a nice climb out. I'm going to trim the aircraft. We're at 500 feet. I am going to start our right-hand turn. Continue to climb out as much as we can. We want to get as much height as we possibly can in this weather at the moment. So I want to make sure that we try and do that. I'm going to bring one stage of flaps, or the stage of flaps up. We'll continue our turn, and we will pick up our track. Come on, oh, little bit sharp and uncomfortable for the passengers there. And let's continue our climb out. There we go, lovely. All right, that should be right. Complete IFR today. Complete IFR. I'm just going to bring our heading bug around to where we are. And do a slight right-hand turn. Now swap our frequencies over, and we will contact approach. There we go. That should be okay there. Just trying to maintain my view on the gauges as we go, just to be safe. I want to get myself into a little bit of a position here where I can actually put our heading bug on and hopefully maintain our heading. There we go. Just bring her around a little bit and get ourselves in there. While we're doing this and while we're establishing our climb, Let's swap over frequencies and tune to Seattle Center.
Seattle Center, Piper November, 4131 Charlie is passing 3,400 feet, climbing 6,000 feet.
Piper November, 4131 Charlie, Seattle Center altimeter, 29.5. We'll continue to hover as planned.
Okay, lovely. We've got our continuation to our first waypoint. Let's just establish ourselves here. I'm going to bring our track around a little bit and try and pick up on that GPS there before we swap over into nav mode. We'll continue to maintain and monitor our climb.
118.1 for United 1942.
Let the aircraft kind of sort itself out a little bit. Just a little bit. Just bring him around a little bit until we come onto that track there. Yeah, we are definitely getting quite a bit of turbulence coming out of here as well. Okay, we should be okay to move into our nav mode now and pick up on our GPS. Let the aircraft sort itself out on that track. What horrible weather. Horrible, horrible weather. We've got just over 1,000 feet to climb until we get to our 6,000 feet, which is probably going to still be pretty nasty. Seat burner 1 is out there. Hello, seat burner 1. Okay, so we're approaching our 6,000 feet clearance that we maintained. I'm just going to bring... There's our 8,000 feet right there. We'll continue climbing. Beautiful. I was
Maintain 8,000 feet, Piper Tree 1 Charlie.
I was hoping that we would get that. Let's just bring our throttle up just a little bit and our prop up just a little bit, just to get ourselves. Yeah, we're going to throw some pitot heat on as well. It's really going to be a little bit cold out there. All right, we'll continue our climb. Do be careful in NeoFly. Do be very careful in NeoFly, especially if you're flying around the Washington area. And the reason being is you'll take a flight and you'll accept a flight. And if you haven't done your research, like I did the other night, then it'll turn out that you will be flying to you'll be actually flying to an airport which is a water port, and obviously if you can't land your aircraft in water, then you can't complete your job. So be very, 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 very careful of that. So every time you go to before you actually take a job, just do your research on what airport you are flying to, which you would in normal life, but you would think that you would hope that with NeoFly it would go, okay, you're in an aircraft that's not amphibious, so you cannot fly to that airport. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that. So you do have to be very, very careful. Yeah. So just keep that one in mind. All right, we're flying. We're climbing at about 500, around about 500 feet. We're getting a little bit of turbulence, which is changing our climb altitude, or our ascent speed. It looks like we've come out of the rain. I'm hoping that at 8,000 feet we may be above the clouds. We do have quite a long flight to go, so we may end up having to request a little bit more, a little bit higher in altitude when we get out there. Now we're just going to bring that throttle up to 2,500 feet. I'm going to start messing with our mixture now. It's going to bring that EGT to peak, and once she peaks, we'll bring her forward. Usually about 10%. Well, we usually go about 10%, but I just notch it forward a little bit. That's our peak right there. Let's move forward just a touch. There we go. And we'll try and get the best performance that we possibly can out of the aircraft. We're coming up to our 8,000 feet. Let's request a cruising altitude increase if we can. Let's increase by maybe 2,000.
Seattle Center, Piper Tree 1 Charlie. Request 10,000 feet.
Piper Tree 1 Charlie climb and maintain 10,000 feet.
Lovely, lovely.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet, Piper Tree 1 Charlie.
All right, flaps are up. Let's just confirm that gear is up and locked. Maybe 10,000 feet might get us out of this gunk that we're flying in at the moment. Let's just do a little bit of work on our mixture there as well. There we go, lovely. Okay, so we're still in it. We're still in about the right frame of mixture mind. We're going to be climbing relatively slow. I can pitch the aircraft up just a little bit with the, but I don't want to. I mean, we're sitting at 95 knots, so we should be okay. We should be okay. We'll just climb just a little bit higher on our vertical speed and get ourselves up to 10,000 feet, and hopefully we might start clearing some of this, although it's not too bad up here at all. So we're just coming up through 8,500 feet. All right, I am getting a little bit concerned, guys, because we are starting to experience a little bit of icing. It doesn't look like we're going to get ourselves out of this. We're at 9,300 feet at the moment. Our PIDOT is on, but I'm a little bit concerned, so we're going to have to keep our eye on this icing. We may end up having to descend again, by the looks of it, because this icing is actually causing a little bit of a problem. So we might head back down to our assigned
Seattle
altitude.
Center, Piper Tree 1 Charlie. Request 8,000 feet.
Piper Tree 1 Charlie descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
All right, lovely. Yeah.
Descend and maintain 8,000 feet, Piper Tree 1 Charlie.
This icing is a little bit of a worry indeed. So I'm just going to bring the throttle down a little bit and pitch the nose of the aircraft down and drop ourselves down to 8,000 feet. I think it was 8,000 feet again. Come on, trim. Come on, trim. There we go. That's a little bit better. And hopefully get out of these really, really cold conditions. Okay, we're down to our 8,000 feet now, so hopefully this icing starts to dissipate. Otherwise, we are going to need to request an even lower altitude. I don't know what our outside air temperature is at the moment. We've got a 15 knot headwind with a 9 knot. We've got a 9 knot crosswind component, so let's see how we go. Hopefully we break out of this stuff. If this icing continues to yeah, we're getting icing on our wings now, which is going to be a little bit of a problem as well. I think altitude wise we can probably afford to descend a little bit more, so we really are gonna need to deal with this. Let's try and descend to 4,000
Seattle
feet.
Center, Piper Tree 1 Charlie. Request 4,000 feet.
Piper Tree 1 Charlie descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
There we go, lovely.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet, Piper Tree 1 Charlie.
All right, let's get this aircraft down.
Piper Tree 1 Charlie descend and maintain 4,400 feet.
4,400.
Descend and maintain 4,400 feet, Piper Tree 1 Charlie.
Yeah, we're starting to get wing icing now. What horrible, horrible, horrible weather. Come on, aircraft. Come on, aircraft, play with me. It's going to start draining our airspeed quite a bit as well, which is something that we're going to have to be in constant control of. as well as our mixture, which is peaked right there. Watch our speed, watch our descent rate. Thankfully, we're not going over any ranges or anything, or hills or mountains that are so high that we can't descend too much. We're getting quite a lot of icing on there. We're going to start losing lift soon. So I'm just going to drop our descent rate to maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500 feet, or somewhere in between. Monitor the airspeed. Monitor the airspeed. Yeah. We're starting to see a little bit of variation in cloud there.
Hypertree 1 Charlie contact Seattle Center on 124.2.
124.2.
Going to 124.2 Hypertree 1 Charlie.
1242 and transfer.
Seattle Center Piper November 41 Tree 1 Charlie is passing 6,500 feet, descending 4,400 feet.
Hyper November for 1 Tree 1 Charlie Seattle Center altimeter 29.55. Continue to hover as planned.
Let's acknowledge that. We don't need to acknowledge that. Come on. Let's get us down to an altitude where we're not suffering this ice. Yep, quite a lot on the leading edge there. And quite even more on the leading edge over there by the looks of it. So we're going to have to be pretty careful of this. Pretty careful indeed. Maintain, watch our speed the entire way, and try and maintain at least 1,000 just to get us down as quickly as possible into some hopefully warmer air. Hopefully warmer air. Speed's okay, we're still in safe parameters there. Come on, don't... the aircraft is trying to lift itself up a bit as well. Okay, 5,000. I'm going to take their altitude. Let's maintain this altitude here. Right there, and see what happens. We'll just continue to maintain and monitor what's happening with our airspeed, making sure, and with our might actually descend just a little bit more. We may even request, I think on our track we can probably request to go down maybe another 1,000 feet. Oh, that's going to bring us down to 3,500. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or not. I might just have to maintain this for now. Just going to bring us down just a touch more, so that we are sitting at our 4,400. All right, let's see. Let's start messing with this now. And there's our peak. So we'll go forward just a little. Holy moly, we're nearly at our first waypoint now. Starting to see some ground out here, so hoping that icing is not going to get worse. If it is, we're probably going to have to probably going to have to land ourselves, I think, because that is full on. That is full on. All right, it's pretty interesting that they've given us that they've given us our descent so quickly. So runway 7 approach, 4,000 feet. Let's just descend ourselves to 4,000 feet. Bring the aircraft down just a touch. Watch our airspeed. Drop ourselves down to 4,000 feet. If we start getting a little bit of rain, we've got quite a lot of frost on our nose cowl as well. But coming down to 4,000, fingers crossed. Bring her down, bring her down, bring her down. Just a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go, and let's hold that. Whew, all right, ice is getting pretty bad. Getting pretty bad, but we can see we can at least see some ground now. It's going to be an interesting landing with our window all iced up. But I have put the fan on high. So I'm hoping that's going to help us out. It's going to help us out a little bit, Christina. Christina's nipples are quite hard at the moment because it's a little bit cold in here. A little bit cold. Mine too. Mine too. Look at the ice. It's going to be a pretty nasty or a pretty tough landing to do. Pretty tough landing indeed. All right. Everything's going all right. Well, as right as it possibly could. What we are going to do is we're expecting a 07 landing. So I'm going to bring our course around to 070, which is right about there. And I'm also going to bring our heading around to our actual heading now. All right, starting to get a little bit of visual outside the front, which is good. And it looks like our ice is starting to actually melt off a bit as well. Well, I'm hoping that it is. So we're going to have to maintain a little bit more speed for our landing, I think. We're going to have to be pretty careful about that because of the reduced lift on our wings. But it's full on ice now. It's actually full on ice now. And up the end there of the leading edge. Thankfully, it's not all the way over. Doesn't look like it's all the way over anyway. Okay, what a flight. I just seem to be just in this weather in flying this type of aircraft in Washington at the moment. It's a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem. Coming into a little bit of cloud here. As opposed to the last flight, we are going to rely a bit on good old air traffic control here. I do know the terrain height and stuff. We're probably sitting about at our minimums for getting over the terrain and maintaining that safe distance. So, okay, as you can see, we've our leading edge has started to defrost now. I'm hoping that our windows will defrost a little bit. We're not suffering any loss on our oil temperature. Our oil pressure is okay, and our fuel pressure is okay as well. Our fuel is good, so if we can keep this up, we'll be perfectly fine. We're still what are we? We're still quite a ways from. Let's see, we're still 25 nautical maybe 50 nautical miles out of our flight area. So I don't know why they got us to descend so quickly, but I'm happy that they, well, we descended to 4,400 anyway, and they let us go down to 4,000, so. Phew. That was a little bit of a drama. That was definitely a little bit of a drama there. Okay, so here's an interesting thing for you guys. A hopefully very interesting thing for you. I decided that I've decided that I was going to go and make myself a cup of coffee. So I thought, okay, well I'll leave it on autopilot, and I'll set the co-pilot Christina to do the radio communications. And then I thought, hang on a minute. Let's set Christina to do the piloting herself. And I've done that, and we are miles and miles off track. So, if you have a look in here, I've set her to radio communications and to piloting. Interesting. So let's turn that off and take over ourselves, and let the aircraft settle itself and get itself back on track. So she just, so when I set her up, she didn't actually do what she was supposed to be doing. Isn't that interesting? She flew the plane, but she just flew it straight and level. So if we go out, we need to, the autopilot's going to bring us back into our track there, and hopefully settle us down at the altitude that we're supposed to be at. But yeah, she took over the plane most definitely, but she just kept flying straight and level as opposed to following our GPS track. So keep that in mind. So if you do duck off to make a cup of coffee like I did, just make sure that you set them to do your radio for you, but not your but not the actual piloting itself. I actually thought that if you set it for them to do AI piloting, that they would actually still fly the course that you're supposed to be flying, interestingly enough, but they don't. So so there you go. It's something worth keeping, worth noting. They will fly for you, but they will fly straight and just straight and level when they take over. So we're about 11 nautical miles from our next waypoint. So okay, so we're about 13 nautical miles from the airport, our destination airport. I'm a little bit concerned now because we are sitting at 4,000 feet and we're seeing tops of clouds, which is kind of tending to indicate that it's going to be quite a ride in. I'm not sure exactly what the height of those clouds are in regards to how low they actually go and what the ceiling is, but I mean, we might be all right judging by this little area down here. Unfortunately, our airport is directly in front of us, so we may be okay. Over there's worrying me a little bit, but let's see how we go. One thing that I'd really like to see from Just Flight is a little bit more integration with this. This is fantastic because you get your flight information here. You got your headwind component, your crosswind component. Gives you the fuel used on this flight, what you're getting per gallon, nautical miles per gallon, as well as your pressure, altitude, and all that type of stuff. You also get a range, your current range of the aircraft based on the fuel that you have, what your ground speed is, what your speed is in kilometers per hour or miles per hour, your endurance, and stuff like that, which is absolutely amazing. But it would be great if they could integrate like a knee pad type of option onto that, where you could actually see your moving map and all that type of stuff as well. That would be really, really, really cool. I would love to see that. All right, we're getting pretty close now. I'm pretty surprised that we haven't got any vectors or anything from the air traffic control, but I am going to trust them, and I'm going to fly it all the way in with air traffic control. I do not believe that they have any type of procedures or anything here. They do not. Okay, which is a little bit of a bum as well. Yeah, I'm definitely just getting a little bit concerned in regards. I always get a little bit concerned in regards to the default air traffic control on what they are actually doing. Being 7 nautical miles from the airport and still being at 4,000 feet concerns me a little bit.
Hypertree 1 Charlie Airport is 7 miles at your 12 o'clock. Descend and maintain 2,100 feet. Report runway in sight.
Okay, there we go. 2,100 feet.
Descend and maintain 2,100 feet, Hypertree 1 Charlie.
Hypertree 1 Charlie Airport is at your 12 o'clock 6 miles. Maintain present heading and altitude. Report runway in sight.
Well, because we're flying directly at the runway, then to be honest, well, we're just flying directly to the side of the runway. Then to be honest,
Hypertree 1 Charlie, did you hear my last transmission?
I would actually like to make my own
Maintain present
adjustments.
heading and altitude, Hypertree 1 Charlie.
Make my own adjustments on that heading and stuff. I'd also like to slow the aircraft down.
You are 5 miles south. Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Expect vectors. Visual runway 7 approach. Hypertree 1 Charlie, descend and maintain 2,100 feet.
Descend and maintain 2,100 feet. Expect vectors. Visual runway 7 approach, Hypertree 1 Charlie.
Let's bring our speed down just a little. Alright, autopilot's coming off. We're going to fly this manually, and we're going to make sure that we get ourselves into position and line ourselves up for our landing. I'm going to bring another stage of flaps, and I'm going to bring our gear down now, just so that we can confirm that. A little bit more speed. Bring ourselves down to about 1,000 feet. Starting to get a little bit of visual now, which is really, really good. I'm happy with that. Give ourselves probably about a, I don't know, maybe a 3-mile final. Bring ourselves around a little, maintain that speed. Everything is ready. We've got 3 green. Our mixture is rich. Our prop is full forward. I'm going to turn in nice and slowly and continue to descend as we go. Pretty happy with that at the moment. It can come up on you pretty bloody quick, so you've got to be really, really, really careful. Line ourselves up with the airport and the runway, hopefully. Bring our throttle down a little. Tough conditions. Very, 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 very tough conditions to be flying in. And we confirm that I have the runway in sight. And make sure we bring another stage of flaps down. And we'll trim the aircraft as we go. A little bit of rain there. A little bit of rain. We've got a tailwind. I thought that they were bringing us in on the wrong runway compared to the weather that we were receiving, or the weather reports that I was receiving. Let's bring some throttle in. Bring a little bit of trim up, and the whole Microsoft tree thing is happening as well, which is going to make it even worse. Going to see how we go here. I'm not sure exactly how well we're going to go, because those trees are going to cause a little bit of a problem for us. But we've got trees at the other end of the runway as well, so... Okay, bring her down, line her up, slow that speed down, and that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad indeed.
Taxi to parking and shut down your engine.
But that was because of those trees there. That was the problem there. Like, they just put trees right at the end of the runway, and it wouldn't be hard, as I've said previously. Let's bring those flaps up. As I've said previously, it wouldn't be hard for them to program not having trees within a certain distance of runway thresholds, like an exclusion zone, so that so that they don't put bloody trees right where you're supposed to be landing. I mean, because as you've seen there, I had to dodge all of those trees to come in, and we actually nearly missed the runway there. So, that's horrible. That's horrible. The only thing that I can do is probably turn off collisions, so that we can actually fly straight through those trees, which I might end up having to do, especially flying into these smaller airports, where it is sort of a little bit of a problem. All right, landing lights off, taxi lights on. Let's bring ourselves in here. Hard landing. They're not going to be happy about that. And bring ourselves probably around here, and we'll park up around here, I think. Yeah, not super happy with that flight. Not super happy with that flight at all. But what can we do about it? What can we do about it with trees on the approach? But pretty interesting though. Pretty interesting to be dealing with all of that icing and everything. All right, park brake on, PDOT off, taxi lights off, strobe lights off. We will take our nav lights off and we'll bleed that out there.
Transporter, you can open the doors and begin the disembarkation.
Okay, confirm that the props are off. Let's throw that on there. Park brake is on. Everything else is good. We can actually start shutting down our entire aircraft right there. Well, there you go, guys. That is it. What crappy weather we've flown in. But and Christina, straight and level was good, but I thought I'd taught you better than that. Follow the GPS.
All the passengers have disembarked. Good job.
Follow the
See you
GPS. Now I'm just going to get you wet now.
You're clear to start your engine.
Let's lock that door in place. All right, there you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.